Hey-o, people, what's going on? My name is Jake. This is my co-host, Xan.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Today, we're back with episode number 32, same time every single week. By the way, pre-recorded episode, Xan, we approach the holiday season.
I mean, we're basically in it now. I mean, by the time the podcast releases, it's going to be the week of Christmas.
Hey! Yes, dude.
We're spending too much time together.
All you audio listeners out there, heck yeah, the joyous season is upon us. You know, with that pre-record, though, we hope you guys all do enjoy your holiday break. I guess it's not New Year's, but a quick thank you to all of you guys who do listen to the podcast, the highlights, stop by the channel and the website. We do appreciate you.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, same time, same place every week, and let's just get the ball rolling, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. All right, Xan, it's been a year of back and forths, as we try and celebrate as much as possible towards the end of this year for Christmas season.
Yes.
An organization out there we've celebrated time and time again. We've also talked about time and time again.
FaZe?
That's the likes of FaZe Clan.
Hey! How did I know?
I don't know.
Wow,
is it even a surprise at
what
this
a
point?
wild guess.
We're probably going to piss a few people off out there, but this is
we always do.
But this is only love, Xan. This is only love.
Yeah, definitely. I think literally last night I was telling you I was about to buy like a FaZe hoodie.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to decide like which one.
When it comes time, hey, merch video coming soon as well. We have all these ideas that bounce off, and a lot of them involve FaZe Clan because they do a lot of great things. And this last one was under the rug a little bit, under the radar, I should say, about another way they're expanding their brand and really how genius they truly are. I'll keep it short. I'll keep it simple. It involves Caffeine. And so you probably know where I'm going with this. It was actually published probably by the time you watched this a couple weeks back. We see so many competitors out there in the streaming platform. Caffeine is now taking their different angle, and they've already signed 2 FaZe members, which are 2 of their investors, ambassadors, and just so happen to be 2 of their celebrities, which are many connected to FaZe Clan.
Yeah, which is still crazy impressive that FaZe, I mean, what other org actually has so many high-profile celebrities connected? And not even just like, oh, I'm putting money in, but actually being like, hey, I'm hanging out with FaZe Clan. Hey, I'm making merch with FaZe Clan.
Offset's like talking to TMZ about FaZe Clan and unbanning FaZe Clan people.
They were just doing stuff with Man City the other day. That was a good video.
Or Man United. I think we get it wrong every time, so let's skip past that.
Hey, we're not soccer people.
You guys know we're talking
football. Sorry,
they know what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no other organization out there right now where we go, oh, dude, Liquid has a celebrity signing a streaming deal with another platform out there, and that same person also streams on Twitch. That's Juju Smith-Schuster, by the way, from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a FaZe Clan ambassador who streams frequently on Twitch, or of the professional athletes out there, he's one of the most popular. Also, has just signed a Caffeine deal for 16 shows. Same thing with
Which is insane.
It's just and same thing with another investor, FaZe Offset. We just talked about as well. There is no other organization doing these kind of things, and I think it just kind of gets swept out there because people are so used to it. The fact that Lee Trink or FaZe in general has hired these people, and then they are, like you said, they're so active and involved in the community, or at least want to be, because they have ties to FaZe. They have investment there, and they themselves know that their power is worth something. The fact they're actively going out and actually signing these deals is amazing. And again, we'll say it time and time again, no one else is doing it.
Yeah, even though like Nadeshot, he's got pull, right? You got tons of celebrities on his podcast constantly, but none of them are out there being like, hey, yeah, 100 Thieves is the move. None of them are always repping 100 Thieves merch.
Although, to be fair, though, when it comes time to any close comparison, there are 100 Thieves ambassadors that are close.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's FaZe.
Not at the same tier, though. I'd say like if FaZe Clan is A tier, 100 Thieves is definitely
S tier.
B.
FaZe up there. 100 Thieves A tier, everyone else B, C?
I'd say everyone else is like C probably. Like let's be real. Like even like Team Liquid, I love y'all, but like that Marvel collab was garbage.
Oh man, don't even we don't gotta hop into this. Yeah. Oh boy. Meanwhile, FaZe is tying themselves to celebrities. You're tying yourselves to superheroes, which is.
But like you don't have like they tie themselves to superheroes. Don't even get one of the people from Marvel to go like, hey, we like Team Liquid.
That would have been epic.
Don't have Hawkeye going like, hey, yeah, I love playing video games with like, I don't know, somebody from Liquid.
I can actually picture the guys in those jerseys. Oh man, but I'm sure someone liked it.
Yeah.
Either way. At the end of the week, every single week, FaZe is doing something crazy. They now have 2 of their celebrity ambassadors sign a streaming deal before any of their other people have signed streaming deals. Wild.
All right, Jake. So
Sorry, I already know what you're gonna say, and I'm excited as frick. So
No, it's an interesting topic we got to talk about real quick because I mean, we all know. I think we talked about Tencent several times on the podcast. You all know we love Tencent, but we're also terrified of Tencent because they kind of have their hands in everything. And like low key, if you care about esports or video games, period, you kind of got to care about Tencent because they own 100% of Riot Games. They own 40% of Epic, which owns Fortnite. They own 11.5% of PUBG, 5% of Ubi, 5% of Activision Blizzard, and like tons of like other different game developers. It's insane.
Dude, even like I wish if you guys are only listening on audio, whenever you say Tencent, I know the conversation is going to be interesting, and it gets me like nervous but also excited. It's like college speech class. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, but I'm also terrified.
But at the same time, you're like, I hope nobody from Tencent ever hears us talking about how scared we are of Tencent.
But then it's also like, I hope they are listening though, because they run
at the same
everything.
Time, because we're always like, hey, they're really cool. They're doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But anyway, what they're doing here today is they've actually, if you've heard of Google Stadia, it is a video game streaming platform, right? So you don't have to actually download your games ever. You just log into a website and you essentially just play your video game off the website.
If you listen to this podcast, you have heard Xan talk about Google Stadia, so you better know what it is by
probably
now. Let me defend you on that.
Hey, you know, we might have a couple new people swinging by, so like give a brief primer. You know, think about like imagine playing like a Flash game, but it's just Destiny 2. It's like a wild concept.
That's a wild concept to try and understand it.
Yeah.
Think about just playing your favorite games wherever you are. That's the ultimate goal of these kind of features.
No, you're just logging in to like a website and
so before you hop into Tencent's competitor, Tencent is now in the market for this.
Absolutely.
Which means, if anything, if I'm being honest, and you might get too excited here, this just offers more validity of what Google is doing. It only offers them more power, and we've talked about time and time again, competition, it breeds excellence, it breeds creativity, and it only betters these services. Currently now we have Google Stadia. They're the king. Microsoft, we talked about xCloud. They're trying to do the same thing. They're not actually out yet. And now Tencent is what you're talking about. Yes. They have their own version. This is gigantic, and this will be the future now with these three companies alone, Google, Microsoft, and Tencent. Like, get that through your head. They're doing this. This will be a thing. No matter where it goes to.
You're talking about the global kings of the world in tech, you're probably talking about Google, Microsoft, or Tencent.
Yeah.
Like realistically speaking.
In some way, shape, or form.
I mean, like everybody uses a PC with Windows on it. If it's either PC or like yeah.
So tell us about Tencent's competitor.
Yeah. So Tencent has announced their new platform called Start. They started testing it. Starting testing it a little confusing. The name is actually exactly. This is their plan.
Frickers.
Yeah, it's called Start. They just launched it in beta, and they already have like a couple games out. And very specifically, they have Fortnite available on it. They have NBA 2K.
Smart.
And they have and Path of Exile. Path of Exile, really a kind of weird pick, but it's a great game. And I just think it is insane that Tencent has managed to release and kind of like, and they're doing this in partnership with NVIDIA, by the way, which if you don't know who NVIDIA is, I mean, come on, they're the #1 graphics card manufacturers in the world, probably. I mean, AMD is kind of coming close, but NVIDIA is still like, for years, they've dominated the market. And it's just continuing to show that Tencent has had their finger on the pulse for years of the entire gaming community. They get in on the ground floor of everything. They buy the right companies, they make the right technology moves, and I think at the end of the day, we should all know that video game streaming is probably the future.
It's definitely going to be weird to see where it goes, especially now as these three titans get into it. And much like we see, obviously streaming's been a thing for quite some time. We see that Mixer, the likes of them and others, are really pushing Twitch to be better. And so hopefully, Stadia only gets better, but right behind them will always be. Or in front of them will always be these two. So these three interacting over the next few years, we're going to see where it goes. I think gaming's going to get incredibly simplified in a great way and be more open to the general public. And if these three companies are going to want to do it, whether they make money or not, obviously that's their end goal. Yep. But if it's better for the entire community, more people have access to it, I really can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were just talking about Call of Duty the other day. I'm sorry, because that was a really good ending, actually, for that segment. But, because I just thought about this while we were talking about it, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is 140 gigabytes. That's a lot of space.
To have on your own. That's a great, that is probably right now the perfect example of why these kind of platforms where you can keep all that data elsewhere and still run it on your own device, that it just makes sense. If games are going to get this big, like Call of Duty is going to just push the limits of how big they can freaking do this kind of thing. it's perfect timing to have these kind of things going on as well.
Yeah,
and especially, we have a lot of console players out there who struggle with having to buy extra hard drives, so on and so forth, bigger consoles. This
it's a huge
helps
expense.
combat that. So these are the reasons why this kind of stuff comes about, and they will continue to be about. And I'm super excited for the future with it, especially with Tencent being involved. And last segment, Xan, we talked about Call of Duty, so I thought I might as well bring it up for a short segment. I say that, but it could be lengthened by our own discussions. This is a game that I would say you certainly called the issues of, but even you could not have predicted the slew of issues they have had. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it sucks that I thought at worst we'd maybe have one problematic microtransaction in this game, and now we have this whole set of problems.
You weren't going to talk about COD today, were you?
No.
Because I know you've mentioned briefly, and that's amongst the issues that I won't be bringing up. The reticles, there's a lot of things in the Battle Pass that are going to have their own issues, and we can dive into that probably some other time in the future. Is it correct? I don't know if you rebought. You actually refunded your game before release, correct?
Yeah.
We had talked about
I have not played it.
Yes.
Ever.
So you can be one of the people out there, one of the lucky people, all the people on Reddit who say, can I get my $60 back? You are one of the people that got your $60 back. And I think that you are very happy with that selection.
Absolutely.
As of right now, because you also can get the game cheaper already. But besides that, let me list off these issues just so they're out there. And I know that we've had a slew of controversy around this game and where it's going. And I think a lot of people out there listening right now know that I'm a Call of Duty fan, especially as we approach COD League. And I really do think there was at one point in time a promising future of that. And it just kind of sucks to see.
Yeah, maybe 6 months ago.
It sucks to see a game, not even the pros or not necessarily the actual competitive nature of the game, but the actual developer and the giant hand in the game shooting itself so many times in the foot to the point where they are on record sales. This is the most sold Call of Duty, I believe, now of all time. And on top of that, they're bringing in League and franchise and Call of Duty mobile money. And it's quite possibly one of the worst titles we've seen in terms of compatibility with the community. And it's just crazy
Which is insane.
to see.
I think you're talking very, very briefly. I know you're about to drop a list of the issues. Yeah. But I think it speaks volumes when Call of Duty has not even been out for 6 months and you can already grab a copy for $30. But Nintendo games are $60 for years because people actually like those games and they will pay that price for years. And they know that people won't pay $60 for Modern Warfare by the end of the year because they know people won't see it as worthwhile.
It's wild, though, because, we talk about the longevity of this game, but people still buy it. And I understand that you're a proponent of 5 to 10 years from now, COD might not be around if they keep this up, but you have to give credit where it's due. They're somehow still selling the title, and I think this will start to have a negative impact.
I think it's 100% nostalgia. It is Call of Duty is the #1 FPS in the world, and it was that for years.
And every year, people have different hopes.
Yeah,
and they always get let. It seems like always get let down.
We hope that we'll get the thing that we used to have.
Yeah.
And they just keep every year. I think at the beginning of this year, the exact conversation I had with all my friends was this will be the one. This will be the good one.
You always can go back and talk to your friends about it because you all played together at one point.
Yeah.
Even the adults out there,
because it was amazing. It was just it was a very simplistic game and it was just good.
And every time, especially this time around, within a month, it was just I'm not. Just not there. And now, again, this still can change, and I'm super excited. But a short list of those issues, and again, it does go on past this. We have the COD community just kind of blowing up over SBMM. SBMM has been an issue for some time, but it's also an issue across many titles. We talked about that last podcast. $20 just to see your death on the scoreboard. That's absolutely egregious. I've never seen a game do this kind of thing. $20 just
especially
to see how much you died.
It was in the game previously.
That's
and
the
it's
worst
not
part about it.
I feel like it's such a wild thing. I see most people talking about it. They feel like it's a 1 or 0 type argument, black or white. It's not like they could have possibly made it so you can just see your death counter, but obviously they could have. That's not how video games work.
Yeah.
You can't
To be fair, it doesn't affect gameplay. It's just the notion of someone getting away with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if some hardcore COD fans, obviously you're not going to care because, you're still going to play the game. If any other game out there did this, if any Blizzard title, any Valve title did this, the backlash would be insane. The first COD event we talked about with no COD pros, we'll not get into that debacle. Pro social media training, that we have not seen a very harsh pro statement, as in a pro player talking poorly about the game very aggressively ever since they went to social media day. there's a theory out there that still stands that they were actually told not to talk poorly of the game.
To be fair, they're all trying to have careers in a year, and like if the Call of Duty League doesn't do well, they still need to get paid somehow.
But we do see other pros and other esports being able to talk poorly about the game. I just hope that's not the case, but we'll wait on that one to see if that theory does come true. The patent that does exist back from 2017 when it was registered, that apparently where your in-game accuracy depends on your skill level. It's going to be hard to see if that's actually implemented, but the fact that it could be is just wow. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah,
the fact that possibly could be a thing, and it could be again across Activision or Blizzard titles in general. But the fact is, this COD gameplay sucks right now, and something to actually attest to why is people point back to, okay, maybe this is the issue, and then it just so happens you have a patent for it. Doesn't look very good. Very last, we have the game already on sale. Surveys already sent out to ask people what would make them come back. 2.5 months into the game.
Have you ever seen that? Like literally ever? I don't. Like I play super esoteric
so
video
sad
games.
I'm laughing right
like
now.
I play games that I like. I love developers that like year after year I'm concerned. Will this company still be in business? And I have never seen an email with people saying, how can we bring you back to the game? How can we help? What can we do?
I've gotten that for games, but the games I don't even remember the name for. It's like Monster Hunter games. Like.
Okay, no, come on. Okay, Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter World, brilliant. 10 out of 10. Bestseller.
But very lastly on this list that does go on as well, 12 hertz tick in private matches, I do believe, and certainly had a ton of clips out there of just aggressively bad gameplay. I think it's a total whirlwind where we're at right now in COD, how insanely bad everything seems to be. And it just so lines up with the first ever inaugural franchise season where you're taking millions away from organizations, and it's the first cross-platform. It's a perfectly brewed storm, which next year we're going to see how this storm plays out. It's very scary. And I'm excited. I'm scared. COD right now is just insane.
All right, Jake. So I found out something super interesting this week.
Ooh.
So apparently the Navy is about to get on board with esports, like heavy.
Ooh.
They're straight up saying that, hey, we're dropping all of our advertisements for the Super Bowl. Like straight up, just not even messing with that at all.
Smart.
They're dropping all their advertisements for TV in general because they were like, hey, the spokesperson spoke out and said, hey, our audience that we want to advertise to is the 17 to 20-year-old population in the United States, and they're just straight up not watching the Super Bowl or its ads.
Yeah.
So we're just wasting our money.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And everyone else.
Yeah, right?
Esports are the future, folks.
Yeah, so they've announced they're planning to redirect that advertising money, that budget, to YouTube as well as esports.
There we go.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're starting to see a huge trend of several companies, several large. I mean, the U.S. military-industrial complex is a huge business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're seeing the U.S. Army already has an esports team.
And we did cover that here. I was going to bring that up as well. They definitely started pushing that incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm. The Air Force has an esports team as well. I think their academy does. And the Navy seems like they're approaching this pretty intelligently. They said they're going to take their time. They're not going to immediately just be like, oh, we're going to hammer esports people. We're going to push ads everywhere. They're like, yeah, we're going to take some time, learn about it a bit, and figure out, hey, what can we show these people? And a spokesperson said, at this point, we're not looking to be integrated in the game, but we want to use it to be engaged, which I kind of take as, like, I don't know exactly how I feel about, like, war stuff being, like glorified in that sense and pushed as ads. Like I like military ads in general kind of make me uncomfortable because they're all like hype and like, hey, let's fly these sick jets and let's all be friends, when it's like it's a very serious
thing.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. To recruit anyone of any age to that kind of occupation, if you may call it that. Yeah, it's a very serious thing. Yeah. I will say that when it comes to the expansion of esports, this is certainly something we see in traditional sports. We've already seen it slowly in esports where we have maybe some military members come on and give the trophy to a winning team, or advertisements have obviously been shown throughout maybe some E-League events or different events as well as title sponsors or big sponsors. And that's definitely a step in the right direction of if you want this scene to be more respected. But certainly when we saw the first advertisements, there were a lot of comments, not from American viewers, might I add, which is understandable, about, this is very weird to see. It's very foreign for us to see you can imagine this, right? Imagine if you are a European or an Asian or a non-American viewer and you're seeing the U.S. military of any sort, whatever branch it might be, advertising to recruit. It can be a very... I'm not saying I'm against it. I understand why it's controversial, though, for some, especially if you're not from the country that's promoting their own military. It can be seen weird.
Hopefully, them saying they're going to take their time and properly assess how they're advertising means that they won't just be blasting ads to every country, and hopefully they'll only be isolated to the U.S.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know that it really makes sense to advertise in India like, hey, join the Navy, my guy.
That's a very fair point. But we do see it, especially on Twitch. You know, hopefully you're right. They correctly do those. But once we do see the advertisements, we also do see military members going to events, which everyone does see on the broadcast. I think it's a step in the right direction, though. I don't have anything against it, and I think it's just it's a new, like you said, they're going to ease into it. Yeah. They're not going to push it too hard.
It's nice to see them getting involved and being like kind of respectful to the industry and not just being like,
oh, we're here.
Yeah.
I like how they clearly say we're going to take our time with this one. One last other thing I think is this is easily going to branch into, obviously they already use it to a degree, and we've seen it in a few way past stories, military branches using video games to train as well. And as we slowly approach the future, we've talked about as well, VR, AR may be the future of Olympic stuff as well. VR, AR might be the future of some esports. Imagine these academies or Navy, Army, whatever it might be, they start getting some esports athletes or pro players that come out of them and in the VR, AR scene. Just picturing that.
I can't wait
these
until
dudes actually train to play the game.
2050, where we see this like straight soldiers just sliding on the ground, like doing like
what's that
dodge
video game
rolls
movie?
and everything.
What's that video game movie?
Gamer,
something like that.
Ready Player One.
Yeah,
like
those
stuff
ones.
like that. Like
where they have like I don't know. It's gonna be a wild future.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, and hopefully not gonna be too much backlash if they take it slow enough. All right, Xan, I'm gonna keep this one very, very, very brief. Okay.
You say that. But
we're not very good at this.
We don't have a good track record.
I'm going to try my best. That is the obvious.
That's all we ask for it.
That's the speculation of the future of Fortnite and having Fortnite cases. Let me just bounce this off you so people get an idea. Do you think Fortnite will ever have cases, Xan?
Cases in the sense that like
loot boxes, loot crates,
I don't
randomized
think so. I don't think
item
so.
openings.
No, actually, no. I will go on record right now and say they will never do that.
Thank you for agreeing with me, and that just opens the topic for all of you guys to try and debate us. I already had a video about this as well, so we won't go too into depth. I gave 3 straight points. One was that Epic has pretty much perfected. Item stores and battle passes have been around for some time, but they have perfected theirs to the maximum return per player. I would love to see the metrics on how much money they make on average per player. I would have to assume it's probably up there. They perfected it. Why go away from something that's already working?
Yeah, absolutely.
Second thing is we've already seen the crackdown of legislation, senators, government members who are trying to crack down on cases, loot boxes, anything randomized. We've seen anti-loot box bills. We've seen the UK, Belgium, Netherlands, several countries work their way towards you shouldn't be doing this. I think you're also on the side of 5 to 10 years from now, a lot of games probably won't have them. And if they do, they'll be heavily restricted as to what they are now.
They definitely will be.
We're in a very, very free-range system. We're slowly working our way towards.
We have zero regulation.
Yeah,
it's the Wild West.
It's certainly the Wild West period, I would say, in terms of loot box and RNG-based item opening systems. Weird way to put it. Very lastly, when it comes time for games they already own, they did acquire Rocket League or Psyonix Studios, and they literally took away their cases and they implemented the item shop system. I think we've also talked about this. I guess I could bounce this really last question off you. These are my 3 main points that I think have pretty good holding. I would interested though to hear a counter argument. They take away those cases from a game like Rocket League and they put in the item shop as well. Do you think that Epic Games foresees the regulation really cracking down, or that they saw Rocket League as the perfect market to do item shop instead?
I think in general, Epic Games has kind of realized, okay, if we look at loot boxes as a whole, right? If you look at any study, any scientific study that's ever been done on them, they're all like, hey, this is a bad thing for people. This negatively affects people mentally.
You have mentioned this before.
Preys on people. I have not seen a single study that's like, hey, loot boxes are okay. It's fine. Like I know they're like they can be helpful to a game's economy, but they're only helpful to the video game.
Good point to make.
And they're very clearly, at least according to every study, hurtful to the people who actually play and enjoy the game. In the long run, So
you guys know like nicotine and all the talks around jewels and stuff? That's like that. Cases are like the nicotine of the gaming industry.
No, yeah.
And I myself, it took me some time to come around to it. You know, obviously we see this time and time again, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I kind of just a spur of the moment thought, myself included, we see so many content creators, you know, a financial way of coming around, especially if you're a smaller creator. There's a huge financial incentive to really promote these things. And so I think once you actually become financially stable, you know, I have luckily enough a salary over here. I'm not making bank, but once you're outside looking in, and once you're maybe a bit older, because I did the same thing myself. I think it's hard to, as you're in it, to really see how bad it is. And once you look outside in, you really see, okay, this is addictive. You're teaching this to kids. I think that's definitely the direction we're going. So I think Epic Games is smart enough to realize this won't last forever. It's a gold rush for a reason. You know, it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, if nothing else, Epic Games is smart about money, and they realize that, hey, if we don't get rid of this problematic way of making money and switch to a different one, then we're not gonna, eventually our stream of funding is gonna dry up, and we're just not gonna, you know, at best, they'll get sued and have to pay out hundreds of millions or something.
And now, 5-10 years from now, whatever does happen, they can say they were one of the first, and they already have an item shop well underway.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, oh, frick.
Okay, Jake, I was, you know, I figured this will be our last podcast for the year. Technically, I think, right?
Oh, technically, because the next one will be uploaded after. Oh, frick, dude.
Yeah.
Dang. Yes, it will be.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you all for sticking with us for this year. Y'all the real ones. But in general, what was your favorite subject of the year aside from FaZe? We got to take FaZe. Actually, let's take FaZe and Tencent. Ooh. They're removed from the pool.
Okay, Stadia has to be removed then too.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So I'm going to ask you right back. That's a tough one to put me on the spot for.
Yeah, so, absolutely. That's the fun
re-ask
part.
me so I have 15 seconds to think about this.
Gun to your head right now, 30 seconds. What's your favorite esports topic of the year that we talked about on the podcast? Let's go.
Okay, I would say it's not my favorite. I would say it's the one we touched on the most. That's going to be Optic Gaming and the downfall of that. It's definitely not my favorite. Let's clarify that.
You hate to see it, but like it's a fascinating subject.
You know, I'm also trying to actively think of a different one besides that, but it certainly was a one-of-a-kind. That was the first gigantic esports organization we will ever see downfall. And so for me, that was the craziest, I would say.
And I mean, heck, in the same year, we saw Echo Fox fall apart.
Which I think people, after seeing Optic, were a lot less surprised by, especially because I think Optic was so almost out of nowhere, even though it was dragged on. Echo Fox, we knew for 4 to 6 weeks of like all the bad stuff going on, and after a certain point in time, you were like, they can't.
And that was very clearly bad stuff. That was like, you know, a lot of like bad, like racism and all that.
So I'll change your metric. I'll say the craziest story throughout this year was to me Optic Gaming. But I'll fire back at you. What was the craziest one?
Fair play.
Or what was your favorite one?
Ooh, see, I asked the question, didn't have an answer ready for myself. No, I didn't. I had to shout quiet. No.
I mean, I can keep on going and talk about one more if you need time.
Honestly, it'd probably have to be. Yeah, you know, keep going.
I'm honestly just glad you didn't say Overwatch 2.
It could not be, because Overwatch 2 is so dumb, and I just hate it, and I hate the concept, and I hate how everybody's pitching Overwatch 2 as like, wow, they're so brilliant.
I feel like it's actually kind of died off.
They're fixing the problem with like, they're like, oh, sequels to video games have this huge issue where they can't keep up the player base. And I'm like, Call of Duty has a new game every year, and they increase the player base every year, and y'all trying to say like, oh, video games can't maintain a player base? Get out of here.
I mean, again, I'll list off a few, and you can maybe try and fire back, but if you got nothing, everyone out there's going to be screaming.
Oh,
okay?
Absolutely.
So we got Optic, we got Echo Fox, we can't mention Stadia or FaZe Clan.
Tencent. And that's the problem, because really like immediately, I'm trying to like, everything I've thought of kind of tangentially ties back to either FaZe Clan or Tencent.
Right.
Like
we cover a lot of it.
I
would say my last one is definitely the success that we've just overall as an esports scene seen. Mainly with the point that you brought up a while back with the viewership, the concurrent viewership, and how the fact is, I think you said by next year, I think it was like 80 million concurrent viewers watching the biggest esports.
Yeah, something along those
And
lines.
this year's finals for League of Legends, I think it was like close to 50 million concurrent. And I was like, no, what the? Like, we're already that close, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. So I would say, again, kind of focus on the end of year thing. Like, again, thank you all for being here. We've only seen growth, not just us, but the entire scene. And where it's going is, it's insane. Like,
it's wild to think about how far esports has come from when, like, I don't know, like, imagine 5 years ago, could you have thought esports? I think both of us were fairly invested in gaming at that point,
Yeah.
and esports as a concept.
I wasn't this invested.
No, yeah, obviously. I mean, we do. This is our day to day now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I could have never have seen.
It's very hard to picture where esports was 5 years ago, and I would love to like just see an image of even LAN events or viewership numbers where they were even 2 years ago, and just imagining that length in time forward. We don't know. It's gonna be.
Yeah, it's.
I love it.
I can't wait until all of our predictions are just outdone. Like, I think the esports scene just does way better than anybody could have ever foretold. And on that same note, I will have to say that my favorite
Thank
moment
God
of the
you
year,
got one.
Yeah,
I gave you some time there.
Yeah, you vamped for a minute. Like, yeah, I appreciate it. I'd say my favorite thing to talk about this year has probably been the rise of mobile esports. Just because I feel like, I agree. We grew up in a time period when it was like all Flappy Bird and like endless runner nonsense, right? And it's still wild to think about, hey, PUBG Mobile is one of the biggest games in the world. Literally, Fate Grand Order, which is a mobile game, is the number one. Like, I want to say, like, I saw this literally yesterday. It was the number one earning game of the year.
Yeah, and we saw newsy reports for YouTube.
Title.
The most watched game on YouTube was PUBG Mobile, and followed by other mobiles.
Yeah,
and we're not even in that market, bro.
It's still hard to like wrap your mind around the fact that, like, hey, actually, phones are a legitimate market now.
Yeah,
that is actually a gaming platform in your hands, in your pocket all day.
It will soon be what phone is the best for gaming.
I think we're already there. Like, literally, we were hanging out with my friend Lauren last night, and she was telling me her boyfriend Paolo, he has a Razer phone.
Jesus,
like Razer, like
that
raising
is legitimately the future. Like,
yeah.
And all of us, it's gonna. Oh, I can't even imagine. 5 years from now, we're gonna have people with decked out phones that are like consoles.
Yeah, right.
You pull that out, and you just have performance. God, it's gonna be wild.
Wait until you have a PS4 in your pocket. Like, can you imagine? Like,
then
what?
you know we've either made it or we have lost it. Like,
or either that we've made it, or people are in their rooms dying because they're just like they're just playing games all day. Like,
but either way, an insane year, and surely the future will be just as, if not more, insane.
Definitely.
All right, Xan, and with that being the end of the year, last announcements for 2019 to the viewers out there still watching. Why don't you give it to them?
Well, happy 2020, first of all. Yeah, we're
coming
finally
up
here. Yeah, it was a fast year. It was a year, but went by very quickly. Jake.
End of the decade, and it flew by.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. But anyway, as always, if you want to listen to the Esports Rewind, our podcast on the go, in the car, you're working out at the gym. You can always find us on the Prediction right here on the desk. Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. We're right there with a bunch of other great esports and gaming podcasts. You can always find us there. Also, hit us up on Twitter. We love hearing from you guys. Love getting your DMs. Also, Instagram. We're doing a lot more there as well. And as always, we put out so many videos every single day.
We put out, folks.
Yeah, we work.
We always put out.
Yeah. I try to be silent so people could have a clean audio sample to pull.
I am so sorry.
But anyway, find us. Look us up on YouTube at Esports Talk. If you obviously just for the mobile listeners, because I'd hope you're watching it. But I just want to say thank you all. It's been a great year. I joined the team this year. Jake's been doing it for a while.
Just a little while longer, man.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy ride. For all of you listeners out there, we're gonna keep on going. I think 2020 is gonna be a wild year, no matter what happens. It's gonna be freaking wild. We got a lot in store.
We got a lot of stuff on deck.
But with that being said, the next time you guys hear from us or see us will be the new year and our first podcast of the new year. So we hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast, same day, same time, every single week. Until then, take care of yourselves, gamers, and we'll see you guys back here sometime soon.
Thank you all.